I think it's important to remind everybody this week that the Why series serves as a way to play devil's advocate, come up with a theory or an opinion and then explore that opinion and then encourage debate. Doesn't mean it's my gut feeling or what I actually think, it's just something that I do think could happen given all the parameters that we're presented with. So yeah, Jinder Mahal is WWE champion, and to be completely honest, I'm utterly made up for the guy. He chased his dreams, he worked his ass off, and he got rewarded for it. That's inspirational. As a human to human thing, top stuff. However, does that mean he can be a success as the top guy? And here's where the debate comes in, because I think everything may be working against him. Why? Here's why. Now, the logic behind making Jinder Mahal your WWE champion is a sound one. At the end of the day, WWE is a business and they've looked over at India and seen that there's millions of untapped potential customers. So they're like, right, because we're a business and because we like making money, what do we do to commercialize and monetize all these people? That's the basis, that's the foundation. I mean, you can argue maybe that's not true, but there's enough rumor and speculation out there that says yes, that definitely is true. With all that in mind, Jinder makes perfect sense to be your top guy on SmackDown. Now, I know he was born in Canada, which is kind of ridiculous, but his heritage is in India, so he can appeal to those people, even if he is meant to be a dastardly heel. They'll look at it like, wow, one of our own, an Indian guy, has been incredibly successful in the WWE, and now he's up here. It was kind of like how I always loved the British Bulldog, no matter what he did on TV. Face, heel, somewhere in between, because he was from the UK, I felt an affiliation and I felt an affinity with him. And that's as simple as that. That's human nature. It's just what we do. It's what humans do. We're stupid, really, but what are you going to do? Therein lies the issue, however, and I do think that Jinder is a talented dude. He was worth giving a push to, give him a few wins, see how he reacts to that if he gets better, then see how the crowd reacts to him. You know, pro wrestling. That's not what happened. Because WWE had this idea and just wanted to pull the trigger straight away, that's exactly what they did. There was no build, there was no push, no time passed. One day Jinder Mahal was the Jinder Mahal we all knew, and the next day Jinder Mahal was the number one contender and on his way into superstardom. And that's fine. It doesn't hurt anybody, but it's not exactly the best way to cement someone in that position when there are other and better ways to go about it. For starters, it really did just come out of nowhere. He's only had about 5 wins since he came back to the WWE, and that's a true stat, and all of a sudden, he's leading a brand. And as we've already discussed, he wasn't given this because of an organic reaction from the crowd. He was given this for business reasons, and I actually think that puts even more pressure on his shoulders, and it could be a pressure that he can't actually overcome. Unlike other world champs, Jinder's barometer for success is how well this then correlates to the Indian market. So, if the Indian market all of a sudden picks up, and they start making more money there, and everything grows, then they'll go, yeah, we made the right decision with Jinder. But if it doesn't, then all of a sudden, Jinder is to blame, even though Jinder didn't do anything wrong. And yeah, if he started to pick up speed in another territory instead, that would negate all this. But, as we've already said, the push happened far too fast, and you haven't given the fans any time to adjust to it, so it's very unlikely. So what happens if this experiment doesn't work? And on top of that, what's the time frame for this? How long are we going to give Jinder Mahal to all of a sudden become this super success in India before we go, whoops, shouldn't have done that? That's not fair. And as we know, those type of things take forever. And also, if you want to go that route, you've got to make sure that you book Mahal properly in the right way. And we can hope that will be the case, but just look in the past about how champions such as this have been treated by the WWE. So Jinder may be in a lose-lose situation. He needs help from everybody, and some people may not want to give him that help. Ipso facto, none of this is actually based on what Jinder can control, and that's his performances. So you start to wonder how he's ever going to make a success of this to begin with. He can have good matches, he can cut good promos, but if Vince McMahon doesn't see an increase to that bottom line, I bet you the plug is pulled on all of this. And that's not right. That's a screw job. The best WWE champions are always the guys that have had natural rises thanks to the crowd and the way the crowd saw them evolve. Even someone like John Cena that got booed the shit out of week in, week out, managed to get over with them in the sense there was a reaction there. They felt something, they cared. It was the same with Daniel Bryan, and going further back in time, Eddie Guerrero too. We all felt an affiliation with these dudes and we wanted them to do well as babyfaces, but that also works the other way around when you're talking about heels. But people don't hate Jinder, or at least I don't think they do. They're more questioning what management is up to and why this decision was made in the first place. That's not pro wrestling, that's politics. In short, it's just too transparent, and that is always bad in pro wrestling, and it leaves Jinder with a massive uphill battle to climb. He's got odds he has to overcome. However, this is where the brand split does come into play. I'd be happy to wager a guess that if we didn't have the brand split to begin with, we never would have saw anything like Jinder becoming champ happening in the first place. Having two rosters does allow for loads more freedom, so I'm hoping WWE takes a step back, is patient, and actually lets this all play out as opposed to go nuts because all of a sudden India didn't react the way you wanted them to react. In this scenario, it does all come down to the performer and what they can and can't do, and not some guy in a suit that's marching into a meeting room going, oh, here's my metrics, I love metrics, and here's a chart I made, and the chart's really good, raw. Everybody deserves an opportunity, and if this is Jinder's, make sure you support him and give him as much leeway as you can. Allow him to sink or swim before you make any decisions. Otherwise, you're just going to make everybody sad, and there's going to be tears. And there should never be sadness or tears in wrestling. Unless Ric Flair retires, because that was great, then we can all cry. Given the current lay of the land, or just how open pro wrestling is in 2017, and this may be one of the biggest events to ever happen in that regard, to allow us to see behind the curtain and break the fourth wall and react to it because of that stuff. Everybody is talking about what's going on away from the ring. No one actually cares or is willing to see what's going to happen in the ring because everybody's already made up their minds. And that is bonkers. And there's always an element of this to some degree nowadays, but within 3 seconds of Jinder becoming champ, social media had already dubbed him the worst champion in WWE history. Give him a chance, he literally just won it and you're like, he's the worst. You don't even know. But there's another issue, because some fans just won't accept this for whatever reason, and that makes the whole thing even harder still. It really just is a crazy, crazy situation, and I bet that's what Elton John was singing about in that song, you know. It's a madness situation. That wasn't crazy. What was that? I don't know. So will Jinder fail as WWE champion? Maybe. Will he succeed? Hopefully. But either way, I tell you this, it is going to be one hell of a wild ride. No one saw it coming. No one can believe it actually happened. But to be fair, it did make me well intrigued to watch SmackDown, and I actually thought he was quite entertaining. I hope the ball is with you, Jinder. And I hope WWE doesn't steal it from you. Now, don't forget to leave a comment below and let us know what you think about Jinder Mahal as WWE Champion. Like, share and subscribe. Go to WhatCulture.com. Follow WhatCulture at WhatCulture WWE. And find this face as Simon Miller 316. I'm Simon from WhatCulture. This is the Y series, and Jinder Mahal, if you ever watch this, know that my heart, my lungs, my head, and especially my nose, for no apparent reason, first thing that came into my brain, is with you. I want you to kick all the ass.